This week's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another vlog. I've come out to probably one of my new favorite areas in the Port Renfrew area, and that's the Mossam Grove of trees. I've done a couple of videos here now, but I've never actually been here in the fall. The biggest draw being some of these big old mossy maples, this one especially with the big sweeping long branch that goes out for about from the base of the tree out to the other tip there, probably around 70 feet or so. It's just massive, and there's nothing really holding it up, so it's just an incredible tree to see. Some really great large Sitka spruce in here as well, and some other mossy maples. So I'm here with my good friend Brian Barnum and an older friend, John, who some of you probably don't remember. This was about 2019. I went on a trip to an area called the Height of the Rockies, and I went with three of other photographers, and John was one of those photographers, and we haven't seen each other since that trip, so it's nice to see John again, and he's just visiting the island for a few days. As always, lots of chaos, so we'll see how it goes. I am noticing here there's a tree that I have photographed before, but with the autumn color, it looks really spectacular. So I think I'm going to start on that one to begin with, and then let's see what we can come up with after that. I think I found my first composition. Actually, I've been here for quite some time. I made the mistake of putting my microphone on my jacket, and of course I took my jacket off, so I did all kinds of stuff to the camera, and of course the microphone was on my jacket. So now I'm doing it again, so it's not quite as I'm not quite as enthusiastic as the first time. You can hear Brian in the background. He's doing a bit of vlogging, so it's all confusion here. Regardless, this is the composition I'm going for, and one of the reasons why I go for images like this is not necessarily the subject matter, but it's more for the type of light that the subject is getting. It's quite dark in here, so I'm looking for a bit of ambient light backlighting some of these leaves, and of course when I look up into the canopy, that's where the light, or the best light, is. I have taken this shot before, I think it was in the spring. Really all it is a mossy, big old mossy branch, big mossy trees, and then backlit maple leaves. The difference this time though is that we have yellow leaves instead of spring greens. Now before I started recording this, there was some absolutely beautiful light on this that I'm hopeful the images will come out. The reason why I say hopeful is because I was getting a lot of lens flare, so I'm looking directly towards the sun here. And one of the things that you may have noticed is that I don't often use a lens shade, and this would have been a situation where a lens shade would have been really good, but I don't usually carry them because they just take up more room in my pack. But if you're wondering if lens shades do a good job, yes they do. They do cut out a lot of glare that you might be getting into your lens. In this case, I ended up using my hand, which works okay, but it's not great because sometimes you'll end up getting your hand in your shot. I'm hopeful that the images will come out. The moss was beautifully backlit, as well as the leaves. So hopefully we'll get some shots out of that. Even right now, the leaves look just beautiful, lightly backlit, and also the moss has a little bit of backlighting on it as well. So it really brings dimension to the photograph. Okay, now for this shot I've also decided to use a case polarizer because there's some ferns on the side of this tree that are somewhat ugly, and with that glare on they stand out quite a bit. So with the polarizer it cuts down on the glare and the ferns tend to blend in a little bit more with the tree. I say they're ugly, I mean they're just quite brown because it's been so hot all summer, so they're not that luscious green. But I think the yellows in the trees will be enough to distract you from the ferns that are kind of looking a bit bedraggled. Yeah, it's a nice, really nice scene. Well, it's taken me some time to find another composition, and as you can see the light has changed somewhat. The clouds have pretty much dissipated, so now we have clear blue sky, so it's making it a little bit more challenging. I might not be able to get that much done this morning, but I think the first image I think that's going to turn out really nice. This one, this is more of a close-up view of the canopy of the tree here. Just love looking up here and seeing all these twisting limbs with the foliage kind of in between. The challenge with this shot is that we have quite a large dynamic range, quite a lot of contrast between the blue sky behind and the shaded areas. I think I'm going to try and open up the shadows as much as possible, really keep the whole image bright, and that might mean overexposing the background, which is fine. There's some specular highlights and such in the background. I've tried to cover them up as much as possible, but of course you're always going to get some when you're shooting up into the sky like this. Yeah, I think it's a neat kind of abstract of these twisting limbs. I think it's one of those cases where they look cooler when you're looking up at them than perhaps what you can get with your camera. I'm not sure. Anyway, pretty cool looking tree. I'd like to just take a moment to express my gratitude to Squarespace for sponsoring my latest video and supporting my channel. One of the features that I really appreciate the most about my Squarespace website is the ease with which I can update galleries and pages both from my desktop computer and through the Squarespace app on my smartphone. This allows me to edit my website quickly and elegantly without needing to have any coding knowledge. If this sounds appealing to you, I encourage you to visit squarespace.com and give it a try for free. If you decide to make a purchase, don't forget to use the code Gibbs for a 10% discount on your first order. Oh, good morning, folks. I guess you have to be careful what you wish for. So not only is it raining, but it's pouring. So we're just trying to take a bit of shelter at the moment, and it's supposed to calm down a little bit. So hopefully that will happen, because taking down the roof tent in the rain is just a big, huge pain in the butt. And that's one of the reasons why, if you are thinking of getting a roof tent and you live in the Pacific Northwest, you might want to consider perhaps one of the clamshell ones, or the ones that just pop up with the four walls. Way easier to pack up, but of course they're more expensive. Anyway, yeah, we're just having breakfast, and then we'll see what happens with the weather. Okay, this is a little bit too much rain. So we just wear rain pants, getting absolutely soaked. Okay, so this is a bit of a challenge, this. One of the problems with your camera gear getting wet is all the fog you get on your lens, and if you get moisture inside your camera, then that's a huge problem. I guess I should have brought the umbrella with me. I've taken this shot before, but it's I don't know, it shows off this area really nicely. It is very busy, but I just love the ferns in the foreground and these beautiful big leaf maples that are kind of veering off from one another. And it's funny, I put a polarizer on, but it doesn't seem to get rid of all the sheen, so that's fine, because I think it gives the image a bit more dimension. Well, Mosman Grove was pretty miserable, so we decided to finish up there and head down the road, start heading back. And of course now the rain has stopped. That's often the case when you're in Port Renfrew. It could be pouring rain. Just drive out of town for 20 minutes or so, and as soon as you start coming up through the pass, you'll come into clearer weather. And we've come across this this canyon. This is Gordon Canyon. I've been over this canyon many times. Usually the water levels are much higher, but as you can see, it's quite low right now. So we've been able to scramble down, and this maple is just stunning right now. There's almost the sun is trying to break through, so there's some beautiful backlit leaves here. And what I'm trying to do here is just frame some of the full color, the foliage, the trees behind, with this veil of big leaf maples in the foreground. I mean, to the eye it looks spectacular. Whether it will translate on film, I'm not sure, because it is a little bit busy, but just to look at, it's just gorgeous. So I'm doing a bunch of different formats, pano and 4x5, 4x3, try different formats and different depths of field just to see what we can come up with. Once again, thank you ever so much for watching this week's video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give us the old thumbs up. Thanks ever so much, everybody, and until next time, bye-bye.